Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and spirits of all ages.
Step on up to the bunny rabbit's hole. All right. As you know, this is the bunny rabbit's hole, and I am one of the two hosts. My name is Jason, and this is, of course.
My name is, of course, Craig.
All right. So, of course, we haven't done the of course thing in a long time, so I just figured I'd throw that out there for the people that have been listening since the very beginning, where I used to say of course all the time, and it was kind of a drinking game there for a little bit. But this is, of course, the bunny rabbit's hole, and what we do here at the bunny rabbit's hole is each and every week we pick one single topic, and we talk about that topic until something inspires us to talk about something different. And then when we start talking about that thing, we follow that rabbit's hole to the end until we run out of time, or Craig says, Jason, shut the fuck up. And then we come back to the beginning, to the main theme.
Right. And one singular sensation. That's it before we get demonetized. So as Jason said, we pick one central theme. We research both sides of it, not just what fits our narrative, because we're not that person. But we also include our opinions, because this is for entertainment, and if we just told you the facts, it'd probably be pretty fucking boring. And if you're easily offended, now's the time that you change your tampon and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So while you're changing your tampon and you just want facts, real facts, not fake news facts, just go to Wikipedia. And if you don't like the facts, nut up, get an account of Wikipedia, and change them back to what you want.
Right. Well, Wikipedia, let's be realistic, though. I mean, Wikipedia is not 100% accurate. But, you can use Wikipedia and compare it to, like, 6 or 7 other websites. Because if you're going to do research, you don't do it from one fucking website, because that's just fucking lazy.
Right. Cite your sources. MLA,
right.
APA, whatever format you fucking want. But anyway.
Chicago style. I hate Chicago style.
Unless it's a pizza.
So, yes.
Or a hot dog.
Right.
But anyway. So this week, like I said, we pick one theme. One theme. Above all.
Right.
To rule them all.
Right.
So what's our theme? Before I go on this Lord of the Rings thing and we get demonetized even more.
Right. Tonight's episode is on karma.
La karma, la 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 la. Yes, this is not a little fluff piece. This is kind of an extension of our law of attraction one. Karma is one of those things where it has been near and dear to my heart. I try to live my life through karma.
I want to interject for a second there, Jason.
Okay. Absolutely.
So,
too.
Right. So I'm going to let Jason go back onto his little tirade here for a minute, but karma is kind of an introduction, because we plan on also doing episodes on other religions and things like that. And we'll actually probably go back and do some Christian ones too, and talk about the good that they were meant to do.
What?
Right. So, but yes, karma is actually something that's founded in every religion. But now back to Jason.
Okay. As I'm mid-drink.
You got anything in that coffee?
I don't. Just black.
Damn it.
Yeah. So, all right. So what is karma? So karma is the law of moral causation. So let's dumb that down a little bit. Law is the law of cause and effect.
Right.
Okay. So our Republican friends, that means when you do bad things will happen to you.
Are you shitting me? Wow. How the fuck can that be? I'm white.
Right.
Nothing bad can happen to a white guy.
No.
Sorry. I had to do that. I am not a white supremacist. I put that disclaimer out there, but that is how fucking Republicans act.
Right. Oh, Chelsea Handler's got a great little documentary about white privilege. Watch it. It's fucking great.
She's hilarious. I got to check that out.
It's fucking great. Anyway, so essentially that is, it's do good things to others and good things will happen to you. Do bad things to others, bad things will happen to you. That is the basic element of karma. Now, karma was a belief that's prevalent in India before the advent of Buddha. Nevertheless, I could speak today, it was the Buddha who explained that the formulated of this doctrine to complete the form in which we have it today. Meaning that
Murder.
karma is something that not only does it affect you in this lifetime, Buddha said that it will affect you in subsequent lifetimes. So
So to like sum that up, to dumb it down. So if you're a piece of shit in one lifetime, you come back as like a shit fly the next lifetime.
exactly. So
Okay.
if you're a piece of shit here, then you're going to be, you know,
Dung beetle.
yeah, or a mule cart.
Makes
You're going to become a tree that gets chopped down, that gets turned into a toilet seat
or toilet paper.
or toilet paper, so that you can spread your love to everybody.
Right.
And then you can gain more better karma. So the next time you come back, you may be a praying mantis,
Right.
which would be kind of cool.
That would, unless you're a male praying mantis, because you only get sex once.
No,
Then you're dead.
so kind of like a male black widow.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But then you get eaten.
What does the universe have against these two creatures that they get laid once and then they're eaten by their mate?
And then they become lunch.
That's fucked up.
Right?
I mean, shit. Could you imagine? Oh man, I'm gonna lose my virginity. Yeah, bang, bang, bong. Fuck, now I'm dead.
Oh, well. Hey, ow, you're biting me. Quit biting me. Get off of me. Get off. Ow.
Let's just hope that they came first.
Yeah. So that their seed is spread throughout the world.
It's not even about their seed. It's that release, that feeling good, at least die in a pleasant moment.
Also, anacondas. Anacondas do the same thing.
I was just told from the little one off screen, Goofball, that anacondas do the same thing.
Oh wow. Oh, you know what? I've heard that, and now I realize that there's a child, and I have to watch my language, and I feel bad.
You're all right.
Okay.
That's why.
So anyway,
back
on
to
the comic.
yes. Now, human beings, according to the laws of nature, must pay for all their wrong actions. Okay. Now, there's in multiple facets of humanity. There's different ways that it's like you change this by praying to a deity. You do this through meditation. You do this by goodwill, doing gestures, volunteering. There's tons of ways that you go through this, but when you're, what am I trying to say? In one of the
Intent.
What?
Intent.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm going to interject here because from my reading, I found that it is intent. So if you intend to do good, you get good back. It's like the law of attraction, in the universe. If you put good shit out there, good shit comes back. You put bad shit out there, bad shit goes back. So if your intentions are to be a bad person, be evil, you're going to get bad karma.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, changing karma is one of these things that, yes, if you've done bad things you've had bad intent, just like the Jethro Tull song, sitting on a park bench eyeing little girls with bad intent. There's a way you can get out of that. First, didn't you ever heard that song?
What song is it?
It's a don't.
Sitting on a park bench. Yes. Oh my God, I didn't know that was a lyric. So we're some fucked up dudes. What the fuck were they smoking?
Right. Well, first of all, you got a band where the lead, one of the main instruments is a pan flute. So
yes, pan flute, and that wins best metal album in the '80s over Metallica.
Yes, it beat Metallica's "Injustice for All" for the best metal album.
Right.
With a pan flute.
Right. Go for it. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
But there's two ways to regain karma. One, take the whole Japanese thing and just, regain your honor by killing yourself, or through one of the ways that Buddha says is you can do it through meditation. And the meditation is you have to remember the perfect image within oneself, realizing their divinity and how they need not suffer their past human errors.
So if you're a Republican, the easier way is going to be suicide.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Yes. But so what I'm trying to say is, yes, you can change your karmic outlook, and you can get away from the sins of your past and your past and your past. But
Well,
like
what
you
about the sins of
mentioned
your
before,
father?
yes, yeah. But what it really boils down to is what you said before is intent.
I have to backtrack myself because I realized, by bashing Republicans, I'm bringing bad karma on myself.
See, that's just a good example of, you'll probably spill coffee on your laptop or something.
Right.
As I'm saying that, I've got coffee on my laptop.
Laptop. If my laptop goes, so does our podcast for a while.
Don't spill coffee.
I don't drink coffee, so I guess that's good. But no, I mean, so yes, not all Republicans should, end it all. And, as their glorious pumpkin messiah said, there's good and bad on both sides.
Right.
Because realistically, there is.
He was referring to white supremacists, but.
Right. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I sidetracked you so bad. So I'm going to bring in something right now.
Okay.
So you growing up Catholic?
Yes.
All right. So in your learnings of the Catholic religion, did they say anything about karma?
So, not so in Catholicism, it's not. They don't really go by the Bible per se. The Bible is just what they just. And I've said this on multiple podcasts. The Bible is just a bunch of good stories that you should live your life by. They're good examples of how a person should live. But there is, in the book of Galatians, there is a quote or a passage that is about karma. And it's, be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that man shall also reap. So it means if you sow evil, then you'll reap evil in the form of suffering.
So, all right, I'm going to break this down even simpler, because every religion has karma. They just don't call it karma.
Exactly.
So if you're Christian, your whole intent is to get to heaven. And in order to go to heaven, you have to be a good person.
You have to do good deeds.
Right. So that's karma. If you do bad deeds, you go to hell. That's karma.
Right. And if you want presents on Jesus's birthday, you have to go do good deeds, so Santa will bring you them.
I'm going to get presents in September?
Right.
Oh, shit. Cool!
I must have been bad because I didn't get any.
Neither did I. So I'm going to give an example of karma right now.
Okay.
Out of my life. When I was younger, I had, let's just say, a bad time with my father, so I stopped visiting him for a long time. Now, being a parent to a bunch of a bunch of teenagers and some adults, I have a daughter who refuses to visit me for her own reasons. To me, that is karmic retribution. It's from what I did, my selfish acts as a teenager leads to her selfish acts as a teenager, which hurts somebody else. So by hurting my father, as a teenager. Now my daughter as a teenager is hurting me.
Mm.
That is a perfect example of karma.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, it's depressing, and we're not going to dwell on it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to put something out there to show what an example of it is.
That's a powerful example. That's a powerful example. Now, here's another example that just happened to my parents not too long ago. My parents got into a motorcycle wreck several months back. They're both okay. My mom's still having some problems with her shoulder, so they're at the doctor, and my dad had them to say something to the doctor was, well, we're not really sure why it's not healing. And my dad said something to the doctor's like, well, you think it's because she wasn't in the best health to begin with? And which really pissed my mom off.
Right.
And my mom was really mad at him. Well, he said this to the doctor, which was kind of odd. And so when they're driving home that day, my dad has got this new thing where he decides he's going to back into the driveway. So he backs into the driveway, and he had failed to remember that he had moved his pickup truck farther closer to the garage.
Oh,
So
no.
using the truck as a marker, he hits the accelerator and puts it through the garage door.
Oh, no shit.
Yes.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine your dad doing that.
So
your
my
dad
dad was
has always been the most proper, example for all of us.
So
I can see my dad doing it in a heartbeat.
yeah. So when it was all said and done, he's upset at himself for doing that. He's feeling kind of dumb, but he's realizing it's like, oh man, I fucked up. He goes in and asks my mom, it's like, so what are we gonna do? And he's like, and she just looked at him and was like, I guess you're gonna buy a new door.
She should have been like, well, maybe you weren't in the best driving condition.
Yeah. So he went out and he bought a garage door with windows there, and he's telling people, it's like, yeah, I always wanted one with windows. Like, there's an easier way of getting a garage door with windows. You can just
Right?
buy one. You don't have to put a Chrysler 300 through it.
Right. So I've had many instances in my life which I like to call instant karma.
Mm. Yes.
And they all revolve around my wife, unfortunately. Or fortunately for her.
Mm.
I will do something like make fun of her, and almost instantly I'll stub my toe or something like that.
Right.
And it's like it hits me right then. And if you listen to our podcast, Jason and I try very hard to be very self-aware.
Yes.
So like when I do that, or I'm making fun of her, and then I stub my toe or hurt my knee or something, and I'm like, oh fuck, instant karma. My wife can attest to it because she's heard me say it many times.
So a little example of that was the other day. Actually no, I wanted to say this other example first. So I had some instant karma. This was several years ago. I'm driving around in a parking lot, and I see a couple spaces. It's snowing out, okay? In which my neck of the woods, it does not snow that often. And I mean, it snows in higher elevations, but the elevations that I live at, it doesn't really snow that often. And when it does, 2 to 3 inches really fucks up this town because there's a lot of hills, and it just becomes a mess. So, and people don't know how to drive in it. So I'm pulling through, and I see an elderly couple pulling up, and there's a spot that's really close to the grocery store. And I see the elderly couple coming up. So I like, you know what? I keep driving, and I find a spot that's farther out. And they take that spot. And I'm like, oh, that was cool. I'm glad they got that, So they walk in, and as I'm walking into the store, I look down, and there's a $20 bill.
Oh, nice.
In the snow, and I pick that up, and then there's another one, and another one. There's $80 in the snow that I would never have seen had I parked in that first spot. But
What?
I saw that I gave them that spot, pulled forward, and then there was that. So the flip side is somebody probably did something to somebody else to lose that money.
That's what I was gonna say.
they were probably yelling at their kids or something. I don't know what they did, but they did something to lose that money.
Right. Which is kind of sad and depressing to me.
You're right. I mean, I stood there in the snow for a good couple minutes looking around.
Right, because you wanted to give it back to the person.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't taking somebody's money, but it wasn't just laying on top. It was kind of in it, like it had been driven over type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been there for a while.
Right. If it's been driven over, it's been there for a long time. Probably.
Yeah. So after that, I was looking around the whole area to try to see if there was more, but there wasn't.
Right. So I got to share a story because, as I've told you, and I think a lot of our viewing audience, I recently back in a couple months ago, started going back to school to finish my degree in illustration concept. I have an anatomy drawing class right now, which is very difficult. A lot of work, but I have to have this black pastel paper, so that way I can use charcoal to, white charcoal to draw the anatomy and stuff. So I go to our local college here, our community college. I go there to buy the paper. I have a couple sheets of paper, and I'm up waiting in line, and the girl in front of me is 33 cents short for the 3 bags of like gummy animals or whatever she's trying to buy. And she's getting ready to put one back. And I just pipe up and say, I'll cover her 33 cents. Because it's 33 cents. It's not going to break me, know? So I do that, and the cashier instantly gets pissed off. And she's a lady that's probably close to my age. I'm thinking she's like the manager there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it made more work for her. But I paid for that, and I work in a liquor store. A lot of my clientele are low income.
Mm-hmm.
They're local people. I get a lot of college kids, but I get a lot of low income people that come in to get cheap beers, and it's their pain medication, whether it be physical or mental.
Yeah.
And many times a day, out of my own pocket, I will cover whatever somebody's missing. I am not doing this for something good to happen to me.
Right. You're just doing it. You're doing it because you know these people now, and
right.
It's just the right thing to do.
Right. I mean, they're good people. Like here's like one guy I bought a fifth for because he's going through the whole Social Security racket, which we all know is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't getting paid until like a week later. And he needed I call them pain meds, which is alcohol.
Right. It's still, to me, it's still better than like all the opiates.
Oh, yeah. So I buy him a cheap fifth of rum. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal to me. It was $13 out of my pocket. I didn't care. It's not money that I had to have. I needed or anything. I had the money. Right. I just covered it. And this guy is a fountain of information, very intelligent man, and I just love talking to him. So to me, it's not a big deal to shell out $13 to listen to this guy talk more. You know. So he comes back a week later, gets me $20, and won't let me give him the $7 back.
No.
Because he paid me with what he says he always pays with interest.
Oh, nice.
And I wasn't expecting the money back. I didn't care. I didn't want it back.
Right.
That's not what it was about. But that $20 I ended up needing the next day.
Oh, there you go.
So basically this whole podcast is just about being a good person.
Right. So I'm not gonna segue. We're gonna keep doing this. But there was a Buddha reply. I mean, there's a long history of what the story was, but I think it's really poignant right at this point in this podcast. And the quote was, "All living beings have actions as their own. They're an inheritance their congenial cause, their kinsman, their refuge. It is karma that differentiates beings from low to high states.
Oh.
And I figured this was a great time to interject that, because when you are, there are powerful people that are just dirt.
Right.
There are low people that are just amazing.
Right. Well, and you know what? Let's break that down even more, because these powerful people that all these other people envy, because they have all this money, they have all this power. But what's the main thing that they sacrifice for all that? Love.
Right here, their heart.
Yep. They die alone. With nobody giving a shit that they're dead. Actually, they do give a shit because they want that inheritance.
Yeah.
But they don't actually care about the fucking person.
Right. Now, a good example of that is we did a podcast on Aleister Crowley. Crowley died alone.
Yeah.
He started life with everything.
Yep.
Parents were wealthy, gave him everything. He got to travel. He never had to have a job in his life.
Right.
But he died alone, penniless, and with syphilis.
Yeah. And what that customer that I bought the alcohol for is a big, let's say he has a lot of scholarly knowledge about Aleister Crowley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's like, because he gave me more, because he comes back to talk to me because of what I knew about Crowley. Because he never met anybody that knew as much as I did about Crowley, which is nowhere near as much as he does.
Oh man, that would have been great to have.
Right. And hopefully someday I can get him on the podcast to talk about this stuff, because it's not just Crowley that he knows about. He knows about the Illuminati, all this other stuff.
Which those are, I mean, there's a lot of different episodes that we've got coming up in the works, people. So stay tuned.
Right. So what I really enjoyed about this is this research for this correlated to the learnings I had in school a couple terms ago in my humanities class. One of the things that we had to read were the Upanishads from ancient India. And we talk about causality.
Right.
This is directly from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in 7th century BCE. Now, as man is like, or like that, or no, sorry, let me start over. Now, as man is like this or like that, according as he acts and according as he behaves, so will he be. A man of good acts will become good. A man of bad acts, bad. He becomes pure by pure deeds, bad by bad deeds. And here they say that a person consists of desires. And as his desires, so is his will. And is his will, so is his deed. And whatever deed he does, that he will reap. That is basically in every religion.
Yeah. It is essentially the golden rule, and that is one of the biggest things in most Christian-based even Catholicism is do unto others.
Yeah, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
You know, and in Hindu, the Mahabharata, I'm probably slaughtering that, and I'm very sorry. But he has a couple quotes. As a man himself sows, so he himself reaps. No man inherits the good or evil act of another man. The fruit of the same quality as the action. The fruit is of the same quality as the action. That's one. There's another one. Happiness comes due to good actions. Suffering results from evil actions. By actions, all things are obtained. By inaction, nothing whatsoever is enjoyed. If one actions bore no fruit, then everything would be of no avail. If the world worked from fate alone, it would be neutralized. So basically, summing it all up, you know, you do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. If you do nothing, you get nothing.
Yeah, so don't sit on the sidelines in life either.
Right, which we are all guilty of, especially in today's society.
Right. Like the old, I don't remember if it was one of the sporting goods companies where they had life is not a spectator sport.
Was it Dick's or Dunham's?
It's one of those.
Mm.
But yeah, get involved, and you don't. Okay, so you don't have to have a complete seismic shift to your life if you think that your life isn't turning out the way it is. You don't have to have a complete overhaul of everything. It's
Right.
that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Right.
So, it's one of those things like you just said. It was 33 cents.
Yeah.
It was, how many times have you been somewhere where I do this a lot. I tried to do it the other day, but the lady wouldn't let me.
Mm.
If somebody's in front of me and they have one item, and like a lot of times I'll go to stores and there'll be a kid in front of me with a pop. I'm like, just put that on mine. Now there's two reasons I do it. One, it is kind of selfish because that gets me out of the store quicker.
Right.
But two, the kid walks away feeling good because he still has the $2 or whatever the pop was going to be in the first place.
Right. So now you can go get some candy or whatever.
Right. And I'm helping the economy at the same time. So
Right.
I've done that a lot. Well, the other day I was in a store and the kid wasn't in front of me, he was behind me. I'm like, just throw that pop on, or the kid had a fountain pop. I was like, just throw that on mine. And she's like, no. Like, okay. Why? It's like, that's my kid. He's not paying for a pop in the store. Like, oh, okay.
No, that's funny. That is funny. That's a mom going, fuck you, you ain't paying for my kid's pop.
She's behind the counter. I'm like, well, what the fuck? I mean,
right.
It's a little store that's right by a skate park. I figured, the little skater was gonna, go back and hang out or whatever. And no.
See, now, a month ago, my wife and I went up to the UP, and you live here. You've lived in Michigan. You know that going up to UP requires paying the toll to go across the bridge.
Right.
Not only go across the bridge, but also pay the toll to come back across the bridge.
Yes.
$8 total, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So we go across, we go up, we do our stuff. We're coming back. On our way back, weird thing, in my head popped in, we should pay for the car behind us. I'm like, I got $20 in my pocket. I could probably pay for 5 people.
Right.
$4, we get up there. And so I'm thinking all this stuff in my head. As we get up there, my wife goes to give the $4 to the lady. And she's like, oh, the car in front of you paid for you. So we kept the chain going and paid for the car behind us.
There you go.
Because why not?
Right.
And if they run out of cars before they run out of money, all that does is help our state.
There you go.
And so many people are so selfish in today's society. What is that going to get you in life? Yeah, you're going to have money. Yeah, you're going to have all the material shit that you want. But are you going to have love?
Are you going to be content? Are you going to be happy?
Right. See, I measure wealth not in money, but in love. Yes, I have a child that doesn't want anything to do with me right now, and that hurts me dearly.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have, I've lost track of how many kids we have because we collect them.
Right.
We've adopted one, we've had another one here, and I have all these other kids, plus the kids that I teach, that I mentor and stuff like that.
Right.
I have all these other ones that just love me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can let that one, who is my daughter, who I love dearly, eat me alive because she wants nothing to do with me, or I can just give her space and her time until she comes to it and wants to be back in my life.
Exactly. Something along those lines, not quite the same because it's not a child, is allowing yourself to be open to situations. And there was a great story that I don't remember who said it. It was one of the self-help guru guys, but he's talking. He says, "Okay, so a man and his wife are in a restaurant. The guy looks across a restaurant and sees a guy staring at him. Now, all the way through dinner, he's trying to figure out why that guy's staring at him. Why the fuck is that guy staring at me? Why? Why is he staring at me? And it just started eating him alive. So they pay for their dinner and they get in the car all the way home. He's thinking, Jesus, why the fuck is that man staring at me? What the fuck was he looking at? They get home. They're watching. Him and his wife are sitting there watching TV. Oh, what was that guy's problem? What was his problem? Why? I didn't do anything to him. What the fuck's he looking at me for? So now his evening's ruined. His dinner was ruined. His drive home was ruined. Now he's going to bed. And you know what? He's still thinking about this dude. He wakes up the next morning, still thinking about that guy. But the problem was that when you have St. Bernards, they like to kick tables around. The thing was, the guy was never looking at him. The guy was looking at the special board above his head. He didn't even know that guy existed. So our man, his evening was ruined by somebody that never even knew he existed. But why? Because people just allow themselves to get wrapped up into something. You know, the other guy was looking at the special board, not him, but his entire evening, his dinner with his wife, his drive home, his evening, even the time, him going to bed. And the next morning was all ruined because he had the wrong perspective on what actually happened in that restaurant. So keeping yourself open, but aware of what's actually happening. Now, had that guy in the restaurant went, is he looking at me or is he looking at something behind him? It's like, oh, he's looking at the rope bridge or he's looking at the special board. He's not looking at me. So there's times when it's you can have the wrong perspective in a situation and it can be just as damning as actually going out and doing something bad.
Right. And really what karma comes down to is common sense. And we've said this through every religious episode we've done.
Mm-hmm.
Karma isn't necessarily religion as it is philosophy.
Yeah.
It's used in several religions. It's used in Sikhism. It's used in Hinduism. It's used in Taoism. It's used in Christianity. They just don't call it that because, God forbid, they credit somebody else with coming up with an idea that they stole.
Right. Well, all their other ideas are stolen, so why not this one?
But if you look at it, from every philosophy or religion, their ideas were stolen from somebody earlier.
Right. Just like every single movie script has been stolen in some capacity from something else.
Every song, same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, go on YouTube, find the band that does every song that does the same three chords. I can't remember what they're called, but
I forget what they're called too, but it's great.
Yeah. So, realistically, you as a human being should want to be the best version of you. And if you don't, why?
Right.
What are you achieving by not being the best version of you? Because the best version of you is somebody who is selfless, somebody who is compassionate, somebody who is caring, kind, thoughtful. Right. Because that not only makes other people feel good around you, it makes you feel good. And shouldn't you want to feel good?
You should. So here's one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Think of every fairy tale. Okay. And when they start describing witches, they're old haggard, and they're disgusting looking.
Mhm.
Why? Because they do nothing but evil.
Right.
Now, that's just the fairy tale version of the witch.
Yes, because realistically, most witches in today's society are actually beautiful and caring and compassionate and all the things we listed earlier.
Yes. So, but those are a visualization of what evil can represent in your heart and in your soul. That's what you are on the inside when you just are a piece of shit.
Right. Now, can you imagine? Because I have a hard time imagining what it's like to be somebody like, and I'm just going to put this out there. We've strayed away from it for a while, but being somebody like Donald Trump,
Right.
being somebody who is so focused on your own personal gain that you don't care about anybody else in the entire fucking world.
Right.
I mean, the only care you have about your daughter is because you want to sleep with her.
Yeah.
You know, the only care you have about anybody is because you can get something from them.
Or you only care about your own sons is that they'll go out there and they'll be yes men for you.
Right. They'll spread your lies for you.
Yes.
And this isn't, I'm not trying to do this to be political. I'm trying to do this to show the type of people who karma is. I mean, okay, perfect example is now he has to pay $2 million because of how he used his foundation.
Yeah.
That's karma.
Right.
How many settlements has he had to pay off? The settlement for his fake university, the settlement for his fake steaks, for his fake vodka, all this shit.
Yeah.
This is karma.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to suffer the ultimate karmic retribution because of his actions.
Yes.
Now, and I'm not making this one party or another because there's people on both sides that have to pay karmic retribution for their actions.
Definitely.
I mean, the Clintons are another example of
it. Yeah. Look at, another, if you want to get away from today's politics, we'll just go back a couple presidents and we'll go to Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Because Dick Cheney was technically the president. He pretty much ran the government at that point in time underneath Bush.
Yeah, because he was a fucking moron.
Yeah. But that man has gone through how many hearts?
Yeah. And the reason
4 heart transplants. He's had his single heart and 3 heart transplants.
And the motherfucker shot somebody in the face.
Yes.
And got away with it.
Dana Carvey has a great bit about that. And he's like, and then the creature, he's talking as Dick Cheney. He's like, and then the creature came out of the woods and it said its natural call, hey, asshole, don't shoot me. So I shot.
It's like straight out of South Park. They're coming right at us.
So, but I have a hard time with people that just go out of their way to be a dick.
Right.
Because it's actually a lot harder. I mean, it's the old thing. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Right.
It takes more work to believe that what you're doing is cool when you're being an asshole.
Right. Well, and to be a kind person really takes no effort.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Okay, the examples we showed it in monetary examples.
Mm-hmm.
But do you know how many of my customers at work I make feel good on a daily basis without using monetary actions?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have somebody come in that looks pissed off and they get up to the counter. I'm like, hey, are you okay? And they just want that one person to ask them that so they can basically spill their guts or whatever. But then when they leave, the rest of their day just builds off that.
Yeah.
It
looks like an earthquake here, but my dog's kicking the stick.
That's kind of what I figured. I want to go to a great website that talks about karma, and I can read the article because it's not very long.
Okay.
What kind of voice would you like me to read it in?
A librarian.
A librarian. Okay. The website is ancient.eu karma. It's basically ancient history encyclopedia.
Okay.
And the listing being karma. Okay. Karma is a Sanskrit word that primarily means action. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Karma is a Sanskrit word that primarily means action, but for South Asian religions and philosophy, it is not limited to that, as the term has gained various meanings and connotations over time. The term karma connects actions and results. Good and bad happenings experienced in this life are aggregate results of deeds in this and previous lives. Is that librarian enough, or should I do
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Okay. This is known as the law of karma, and is regarded as a natural and universal law. Karma not only justifies the present situation of an individual, but also rationalizes the cycle of birth and death, or samsara, which is common in South Asian philosophy. Early sources. The idea of karma first appears in the oldest Hindu text, the Rig Veda, before c. 1500 BCE. And for those that don't know, BCE is a term used in like humanities and art classes and stuff like that. It's before Christ, but it's before common something.
Era.
I can't remember. Yeah, before
common era.
Yep. With a limited meaning of ritual actions, which it continues to hold in the early ritual dominant scriptures until its philosophical scope is extended in the later Upanishads. Circa 800 BCE through 300 BCE. And the Upanishads are really interesting. You should check them out.
Mm-hmm.
You can get PDF versions online. They're really good. The term gains a more philosophical weight when the consequences of actions are attached to it. Thus, karma gains a moral or ethical dimension. The autonomous, can't say that word, autonomous causal function associated with karma in South Asian traditions largely differs. Huh?
Easy for you to say.
Not so much. Causal functions associated with karma in South Asian traditions largely differs from the perspective of Abrahamic religions, where God, divine agency, rewards or punishes all human actions. Bullshit. Thus, you punish your own actions. Thus, the law of karma vindicates God from the existence of evil. The actual function of karma, the intervention of the Almighty in overturning it, the ending of karma, etc., are intricate details which vary from tradition to tradition. Karma in practice. I kind of like that voice.
I do too.
I'm going to use that for this quote. All good actions like charity to the needy and all good intentions or well wishes for others are rewarded, and vice versa. Karma is a reciprocal concept, includes both action and intent. All good actions like charity to the needy, services to elders, help to kin, etc., and all good intentions or well wishes for others are rewarded, and vice versa. This law of karma inspires an individual to follow two things. A, good deeds to avoid bad reciprocal results, or B, adhere to some spiritual actions to neutralize the effects of karma. The second point may not be common to all traditions. The ending of karma and karmic consequences releases one from the cycle of birth and death, commonly known as moksha or nirvana. These are Indian and Hindu terms, and I mean, we all heard nirvana and not just fucking Kurt Cobain, because the best sound that ever came out of nirvana was
I
Sorry.
think that was Courtney Love, though. She wrote that note.
So what was the name of her band? Hole or something like that?
Yeah.
So that was the best sound that came out of them.
Yeah.
Actually, the best thing that happened from Nirvana was Dave Grohl. Okay. And to continue on.
Maybe go back and listen to the Proba album.
Right. And to go back on a lighter note, from a philosophical perspective, there's a lengthy.
You might get bad karma for that shit.
Yeah, I probably will. From a philosophical perspective, there's a lengthy debate between free will and karma. If one is acting inappropriately now, one can justify this as a consequence of one's past only if karma exists. However, along the theory of karma, one is bestowed with volition and one can act according to one's conscience. So while reaping the fruits of one's past karma, good or bad, one is accumulating new karma as well as acting on one's free will. This also gives one an opportunity to act in such a way that one may liberate oneself. Which means, as in Christian religion, you know, you can go through and on Sunday repent for your sins.
Right.
So,
sin, repent, repeat. That's a Catholic mantra.
Right. But in this case, it's, I did something bad. I want to make up for it.
Right. Okay.
Which could be, you know, and this is going back to self-awareness. This could be my actions because I know that what I did as a child affected me now with my daughter. Now I'm trying to do good for other people to try to make up for that.
Right. So that you'll have a good relationship with your granddaughter.
Right.
Or grandson.
Right. Karma in different traditions. In Hinduism, the theory of karma is more dominant in the Vedanta school. For some schools, like, oh, fuck me. Mimamsa, the role of karma is almost negligible. Most traditions. Okay. Most traditions agree on 3 types of karma.
I don't remember that part in the book.
Right. Prarabdha, Samsita. I really need to talk to my boss and have him tell me how to say these words. And
I'm having a good time listening to you. This is funny.
right. Kriyamana, which mean karma to be experienced in this lifetime. Latent karma, which we have not yet reaped, and karma that will result in our future lives, respectively. There's also a concept of Javan Mukta, or a living individual who is actually liberated and thus does not accumulate karma anymore. In later Hindu traditions, which are primarily theistic, the grace of God plays an important role in overriding the karmic implications or completely relieving one and thus leading to moksha. Now, there is a video on this page, which is only 2.5 minutes long. I really recommend you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to play it for us.
Nice.
In Buddhism, essentially, there is no soul, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. I find that really interesting, though. The unresolved karmas manifest in a new form composed of 5 skandhas, constituent elements of a being. That's what skandha means.
Okay.
In one of the 6 realms of samsara, the eventual nirvana means salvation, comes through the annihilation of residual karma, which means the ceasing of the alleged existence of being. Interesting. The actions with intentions, satana, that's what intentions is in this language, carried out by the mind, body, and speech, and which are driven by ignorance, desire, and hatred, lead to implications that tie one down in samsara. Following the 8-fold path, the set of 8 righteous ways of thinking and acting suggested by Buddha, one can attain nirvana.
No.
Cool. Now, this is the last paragraph, and then I will relinquish the floor to Jason. In Jainism, karma is conceived as a subtle matter pervading the entire universe in form of particles. These extremely subtle particles cling to the soul, obscuring its intrinsic, pristine form. It is sometimes described as a contamination that infiltrates the soul and taints it with various colors. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Colors kind of relate to aura.
Yeah.
Goes back to universality.
The chakra. Each has a different color too.
Goes back into spirituality. This is how every fucking religion is linked and nobody fucking sees
it. Right.
Right. Liberation is achieved through following a stringent path to purification. For Jainism, given the absence of an external divine agency, the law of karma becomes predominant as a governing law and self-sustaining mechanism that governs the universe. Fuck it, I'm going to Jainism, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, the website is Ancient History Encyclopedia, the subheading Karma.
Nice.
The website is ancient.eu/karma/. And karma spelled Karma, does not have an H in it. That is the chick that was a WWE wrestler. Please, let's get it right.
Nice. And it's not a C because that's a porn star.
Right. Well, you know.
Or Carmen Electra.
Yeah.
But anyway, so piggybacking off that, there's a point that you read in that article that talked about ignorance.
Yes.
Now, a big thing with karma is what causes karma. Now we talk like it's actions reap rewards. Okay.
Right.
But one of the things that's big in the Buddhist teachings is ignorance or not knowing things as they truly are is the chief cause of karma.
Right.
When doing something and not realizing the causality of it is really what creates karma in one's life. And then another it goes on to say, dependent on ignorance arise activities, states the Buddha in the I'm just going to say the English version of it is dependent origination.
It's interesting. I'm sorry. It's interesting to say that because when I was reading on it, and I don't know if this is the Buddhist way, but when I was reading and doing my research, it clearly stated that the intent, if you're ignorant of it, it meant it was like being indifferent and doing nothing and getting nothing.
Oh, wow.
So go back to what you're saying. I just thought that was interesting. I had to interject.
Yeah. So associated with ignorance, I'm reading this thing out of this article that I found. Associated with ignorance associated with ignorance is the ally craving, the other root of karma. Evil actions are considered by these two causes. All good deeds of the worldling, through association of the three wholesome roots of generosity, goodwill, and knowledge, are nevertheless regarded as karma because the two roots of ignorance and craving are dominant within him.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Now continue with the Scottish accent.
I'm a, it's, all I'm thinking of is the Irish accent.
Oh, they do it Irish.
All right. The moral types of these, I'm going to try to say super mundane path of consciousness.
Let's see, Irish. Great. No, that's Scottish.
That's Scottish.
Yeah, so you did it, Scottish. What was the word again?
Super mundane path consciousness.
To be super mundane path consciousness.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
Sounds like you're a golfer.
Yeah,
Are not regarded as karma because they tend to eradicate the two causes.
Right.
But, so what? To paraphrase all that is, the two bad things are ignorance and craving.
Okay.
And that's the root of all bad karma. And ignorance and craving can be parts of generosity, wholesome roots of generosity, goodwill, and knowledge, because you can have ill will within those, if that makes sense.
All right, I want to ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned craving.
Yeah.
If somebody's starving, they're craving food.
Right.
That's bad karma?
Can be.
Right, but if they, okay, say Gandhi.
Yeah. Hunger strike.
Okay. Hunger strike. Craving food. That's bad karma?
I think what craving really means is more in the realm of greed.
Okay, so you're talking like craving power or wealth.
Yeah, excessive need or excessive want.
Right.
I think it's more of a want than a need in this situation.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Where was I at?
I don't know.
I'm in Battleground, Washington. That's where I'm at.
Right.
Anyway, so what all this shit means is it's kind of the yin and the yang of what karma is. So on one side you have generosity, goodwill, and knowledge, and on the other side you have ignorance and craving.
Okay.
And they're in constant war.
So here, back to Wikipedia, and I talked about intent earlier, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So in the Wikipedia, and this is something that they had in there, intention, which is called setna, which is a Buddhist term commonly translation as volition, intention, directionality, etc. It can be defined as a mental factor that moves or urges the mind in a particular direction toward a specific object or goal. So intention, I tell you, is karma. Intending One does karma by way of body, speech, or intellect. And let's go back to that time frame. They would say different words. They would say the same word several different ways, like karma, kama,
Right.
So basically, they're saying intention is karma intending. So one does not karma by way of body, speech, and intellect. One does karma by action. That is the interpretation I get from it. It could be interpreted different ways by different people, but that is what I get from it. That is the Buddhist.
Life is not a spectator sport.
Right. And it really isn't, because as everybody says, go out and vote, go out and do this, go on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want change in the world, you have to change yourself.
Right.
Because changing yourself will change those around you, which will change those around them, and it will be a whole domino effect.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
Exactly.
So going back to like what is karma type of stuff, there's 4 main classifications of karma.
Right.
Okay. There's the reproductive karma. There is.
Pizza. I didn't order pizza.
Yep. We've all seen that one on YouPorn or Pornhub or RedTube or whichever one you want to use. Anyway, the next one is supportive karma. There's obstructive karma or counteractive karma, and then destructive karma.
Ooh.
So I kind of put this in. Has everybody done a SWOT analysis? Where you have your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a business term, but it's a business thing, but you can also use it in a personal setting. It's kind of like a SMART goal, where it's a lot like that. You just make a chart, and then there's strengths, there's weaknesses, there's opportunities, and then there's threats. I kind of see that these are all in the same thing. You have your reproductive, your supportive, your obstructive, and your destructive. And you can kind of put your actions in all these things. Reproductive would be things that, like it goes on. The definition is every birth is conditioned by a past good or bad karma. Which is predominated by at the moment of death. So, meaning that you're going to reap what you sowed from the previous life at the moment of birth.
Okay.
So when you die the last time, if you were, let's say you were Dick Cheney, and next time you're going to be the man from Up in Smoke, and they're going to have Strother Martin yelling at him. It's like, you can get out there and get a job, boy. You can get out there and pick strawberries, bend and scoop, boy. So, he's going to be reborn as something shitty.
Right.
The dung beetle, we'll say.
Right. So basically what you're saying is in the Asian cultures and when I say Asian, I'm not talking about Chinese or Japanese. India is in fucking Asia, you fucking morons. Sorry, our listeners aren't morons, but there's people out there that don't know. But Hinduism, Buddhism started in India, which is in Asia, which is an Asian culture.
It's part of the Asian continent.
Right. And you hear of Yemen and stuff like that, where the monks are and stuff like that. All these people, this is where karma started. This is the roots of karma, which is probably stolen from a religion previous. Let's be realistic. Because every religion comes down to the same commonsensical theory of, hey, if you're going to do good, you're going to get good. If you're going to do bad, you're going to get bad. That's fucking karma, dude. That's karma, yo.
We can sit here and just keep harping about how easy it really is to just do a good deed from now and again.
Right.
It really is.
And the sad thing is so many people don't realize the causality that doing good has on them.
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, if my daughter had cut me out of her life 10 years ago, it would have crippled me mentally.
Yeah.
It would have crippled me emotionally. I would not be able to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Today, because of being self-aware and all this and karma and all this other stuff, I'm able to handle it. I'm able to be like, someday she'll come around.
Yeah.
And just be patient.
Well, because now you're, like I was talking about before with the guy in the restaurant, your perspective has changed.
Right.
You're seeing it not from your eyes, but from hers.
Right.
And that changes the whole thing. You're seeing it through her eyes from your point of view, going, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I did to my dad."
Right.
Now, as you now have a good relationship with your father, you're over there all the time. You hang out with him a lot. Everybody has differences with their parents, but and they all drive you. Everybody's parents drive them nuts. But
right.
you have a good relationship with your dad now.
Right.
And you understand that you have the opportunity to have that with your daughter in the future.
Right. And I'm willing to be patient.
Yeah. And she's still young.
Exactly.
And she has not really experienced the world and got to see we goofball throughout a fact for us earlier about the anaconda.
Mm-hmm.
He's young too, and their children their age haven't had any worldly experience, have not been able to see life from other points of view yet.
Right. And honestly, self-awareness, I mean, we talk about it a lot, but realistically, until you're probably in your 30s, you're probably not going to be very self-aware.
No, there may be a few that are, but it's going to be a rare trait.
It is something that I preach to my kids, and I see it in my kids, and they're young, but it's a lesson I taught them. How many parents did your parents teach you to be self-aware?
No.
Neither did mine. I wish they had.
They taught me and wanted me to be an individual, but that was now that I am more self-aware, what it really taught me was how to be selfish.
Right.
Because all I thought about was Jason.
Right.
At that age.
Right.
And I was a selfish little prick when I was younger.
Well, and also by teaching you to be an individual teaches against everything that they're taught.
Right.
And then when you become that individual, you're not the individual they wanted you to be, so it backfires.
Yeah.
My basic teaching to my kids is all I want for you is happiness. Success doesn't equate happiness. Happiness comes within.
Yes.
And that is what I teach to them, or I try to teach to them. Let's put it that way. Some of them get it, some don't.
Yeah. Like what I taught my son, or I tried to teach him anyway. The lessons that I tried to teach him was enjoy life before you decide to start your life.
Right.
It's like
family thing.
Yes, get some experiences, buy some toys, see the world. Do stuff, because it does become harder when you have a family. And
it really does.
But the reason I'm saying is like, do I want him to have a family and settle down with a partner and all that stuff? It's like, of course I do, but it would make me happier to see him become more of a broad person. Some life experiences. Have the stories that I got to tell him of the stuff that I got to do.
Right. And see, for me, it's like, do I want my kids? Excuse me, I got a burp. Oh, excuse me. Do I want my kids to, as you said, settle down, have families, do all that, bullshit? I do if that's what's going to make them happy.
Right.
If that's not what's going to make them happy, I want them to do what's going to make them happy.
Exactly.
Because that's all I want for them. Happiness does not equate to success and all that stuff. It doesn't access to financial gain or anything like that. Happiness is different to every person, every individual person on the planet. My kids will get mad at me because I'll handle one kid differently than I handle another one. But each person that you approach, you have to handle a different way than somebody else.
But yes, you say even with your kids in the with the, our kids, you do have to, because they're different people.
Mm-hmm.
They react differently to just in how you just an inflection and how you say something can be
right.
Change it or make or break their day.
Right.
And that's the same thing too. Is like when we're talking good deeds, we're talking like before we're talking about a simple monetary thing of 33 cents that you helped somebody out with, or buying them a fifth, which $13, big deal. But
right.
It doesn't even have to be monetarily, which we've already discussed. It can be something as simple as getting to know somebody's name.
Right.
If you go through the same drive-through over and over again, read their name tag.
Yeah.
And don't be that dick that says, "Hey, Marty, how are you today?"
Right.
Like, so how ask them a question. Actually be, sincere in your thing. But when it's a sales technique, people love nothing more than to hear their own name.
Right.
And they love nothing more to have somebody speak their name to them. So
right.
Why do you think when you go in to buy a car, the first thing they try to do is, "What's your name?"
Right.
Because
so they say your name 15 times in the next 5 minutes.
"Hey, John, John, today, John, you know what? Hey, I was thinking, John." It is overused, but in just a personal setting like that, a little transaction in the McDonald's drive-through, it would go a long way to make or break in somebody's day. And I have a little story to say about a McDonald's drive-through. So
okay.
the other morning I'm going through the drive-through. Now, this was an example of ignorance karma, because I'm in the drive-through and I get pulled to the window and they say, "Hey, this is for breakfast." And I'm like, "Yeah, your muffins aren't ready. We're waiting on them. So can you pull around?" Happens all the time. So I pull around, but this time the 2 parking spots are occupied. There's a minivan and then there's a 3/4 ton pickup truck with a long bed that's there. So I pull in kind of like the spot that's right behind them. And I'm just sitting there and I'm playing on my phone, doing everything. And all of a sudden, just like that, they're out there with my food. And the 2 vehicles in front of me haven't moved yet. I'm like, wow. They must have almost had it done anyway. And I probably could have just stayed right back there. And it's kind of cool. And then as I'm driving out, I kind of look back and I realized no cars have gone past me. Where I had parked, I had blocked the drive-through.
Oh, Jesus.
So when I'm sitting there, I'm getting all the way around. So as I pull around the restaurant, the cars are lined up all the way past the speaker box. I'm like, oh, that's why they got me out of there, because I'm an asshole.
Right. So here's another example of karma. And this isn't karma that came back to reward me in any fashion. This is, I had a customer come in, and you and I have talked about empaths in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this was a young man who is an empath. Wasn't aware of it. His dad tried to tell him he was. So it was a slow day at work. So I sat down, or I stood there and I talked to him for probably a good 15 minutes. And I directed him towards certain places and stuff like that where he could help, which would help him with it. Because the kid came in having a really bad day.
Mm.
And just in that 15 minutes of talking to him when he left on a high.
Hmm.
Now, those of you that have had a bad day and had somebody sit down and talk to you and leave on a high, the reason why that you left on a high is because that person talked to you, took on all that bad energy that you had and took it away from you. And being somebody that knows that and knows how to get rid of it afterwards, it's not a big deal to me because I channel it all into my art or music or something like that, and just let it go and get rid of it. But
not me, man. I bottle that shit up.
Right. But you don't have to be an empath to do that.
Right. I'm just fucking around too.
Oh, I know you are. But I mean, but that's another example of karma. You know, this kid had all this negative karma hitting him. And just by talking to him for 15 minutes, I was able to change his karma.
There you go.
You know, you can do that for other people too. I mean, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, how many minutes are in a day?
A lot.
Right. So 15 isn't many.
Right. I haven't seen Rent in a long time, and I know they have that song that calculates all the seconds in a day or whatever, but
yeah, that's a long time. That's
yeah.
a lot. But you know, it's just it's something that simple. It doesn't even have to be 15 minutes. It could be 5. It could be 1.
Yeah.
You know, just take that time, take that effort to say, when you see somebody that looks like they're having a really fucking bad day, just say, hey, are you okay? And if they're standoffish, going, why? I'm like, you just look really upset, and I was just curious because I was, wondering if there's anything I could do to help.
Yeah.
And that will change their entire tone. I guarantee it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've had that happen where I had somebody come in that when I asked them, are you okay? Yeah, why? I'm like, you just look really upset, and I was just curious. I was wondering if there's anything I could do to help. And then they change completely like that.
Exactly. And I've had it happen to me. I've been the grouch.
I've had somebody that's like that was willing to take the minute to find out,
yeah.
Hey, are you all right? And it makes you feel good. It's just like you're walking down the street and somebody's walking the other way, and we are, as a society, so used to being self-absorbed that when we see somebody coming at us, what's the first thing we do? We grab our phone and look at our phone.
Right. Exactly.
Why would we want to interact?
It can be something as simple as this. We had a friend in Pittsburgh that just a great human being. But remember Kelsey was his name. And he just look at you and you look back and you're like, smile, man. You live in America. And it would just catch you off guard. But it never failed to put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I'll be walking by him in the hall. We went to school with him at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Walked by and I was just like so focused on what I was doing because I had to do this stupid like voiceover recording thing, and I just hadn't had it all pieced together. And he's just like, "Hey, smile, man. You live in America." I was like, "Yep."
Right.
It can be something as simple as that. Anything, just put a smile on the face, change somebody's perspective.
Right. You can change somebody's entire. Here's a great example. My wife started something new. She's a 3rd grade teacher. She gets so tired of calling parents when the kids are bad. She tried something new this year. She called parents when the kids were good.
Oh.
Now she has one kid who at the beginning of the year was a troublemaker. But every day after that call, ask her, am I being good today? He actually cares, because that phone call that she made to his parents has gone back to positive reinforcement to him. And that's not something he's used to, obviously. So he wants more of it.
Right. That was a different type of attention.
Yeah. And, there's so many studies. That was really, watching that dog under the blanket was really trippy. But, there's so many studies that, people crave the attention that they're used to. So if you're used to negative attention, you do things to create that negative attention. But when you get something else that feels better,
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want that. So you're going to strive towards that. So, yeah, just be aware of yourself. Don't be a dumbass.
That's a great point to start summing up on right there. I couldn't have said it better. I don't think Buddha would have said it better. I think Buddha should have said it out there. It's like, hey, don't be a dumbass. Oh,
yeah, Buddha was too PC, you know?
Exactly. Do you remember the book? So for those who don't know, in the 80s, they thought the Bible was too hard to read. So they recreated the Bible, they rewrote it in layman's terms. And it was called The Book. So imagining if we went back and did all of these books and stuff that Craig couldn't pronounce their titles, and I didn't even try. So he's braver than I am. So if we would have done that, it would have all came down to Buddha's teaching is don't be a dumbass.
Right. That's really, that sums up the entire episode. I don't even need to go in depth with it like I normally do.
All right. So without further ado, I'm just going to say it. Insert tagline here.
Peace out. Love you guys. Hey, and one more thing. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Jason forgets to put the email underneath the YouTube video. I don't know why.
Oh, today?
Yeah. For the ghost story one?
Oh, okay.
Go back and edit it.
Oh, okay. I will.
All right. So yeah, let us know what you want to hear us talk about because we want to keep you guys entertained. It's not just about entertaining ourselves because we entertain ourselves just by being in a room by ourselves. Because
I've been entertaining myself my entire life.
Right. Exactly. So
a lot
let
more
us know.
12.
Reach out. Come out. Say, hey, motherfuckers. And back to our last episode. On what was her name?
Lavinia, Miss Fisher.
Yes. So I had a theory about her.
Okay,
you remember the guy that escaped and then they caught him and he was appealing to her as, hey, I saw this in my head exactly what she did. She reached down, caressed his face and said, not now, motherfucker! Smashed his head through the window. And I think she's the one that came up with saying motherfucker that way.
Right.
And then Samuel Jackson took it farther.
I could see that.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the end of today's episode.
Brought to you by the letter motherfucker. All right. Peace out.
All right. Peace out, guys.